Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, the 29th day of January 2014. Wednesday, the 29th day of January 2014. I'm your host for the next 2 hours, Dr. Peter Glidden. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. I have 25 years of clinical experience in the delivery of science-based, clinically verified, holistic medical therapeutics to whomever is wise enough to try such a strategy. And the word holistic has gotten a bad rap, because of what happened in the 60s. People think holistic means people with long hair and beards down to their toes running around in sandals and Birkenstocks and tie-dye T-shirts listening to the Grateful Dead. And it's nonsense. Holistic medicine is older than contemporary reductionistic medicine, and it may interest you to understand that your MD, your medical professional, is not trained in medicine. Nobody is. Medicine is a broad country, a vast country, a broad domain. Your MD is trained in one aspect of medicine, technically referred to as allopathic reductionism. In contrast to that, in direct contradistinction to allopathic reductionism, members of my profession are trained in naturopathic holism. Now, this is a fundamentally very important thing to understand. This is a distinction which can save your life and eliminate massive amounts of suffering, either potential or real. Reductionism, which is the philosophy of medicine that your MD is trained in, argues that the world and the body operate under the laws of Newtonian physics, and that, according to Newtonian physics, if it can't be measured, it does not exist. And with Newtonian physics, it's all about data acquisition and measurement, right? Force equals mass times velocity, and we know that things in a vacuum or in the world fall at 33 feet per second, and engineers go to school to learn all the rules of the world, right? The rules of physics. Well, MDs trained in allopathic reductionism, which is a version of the Newtonian worldview, are trained to observe the human body through a reductionistic lens, which means that if it can't be measured, it doesn't exist. Therefore, the soul, since it's never been dissected out of a body or visualized with a CT or an MRI, doesn't exist. And if the soul doesn't exist, then the human body is just a biochemical amalgamation of coincidental chemicals that happened eons ago in some antediluvian primordial Jurassic Park swamp by accident, and then which evolved somehow through serendipity. They've never even got their fingers on it. It's the human body. But the basic rule of allopathic reductionism is that the human body does not have intelligence. That consciousness, your very consciousness, is a function of biochemistry. And that when the body dies, it's all over, it's lights out, there's no life after death, there's no extrasensory perception, there's no soul force, there's no nothing. That everything that you experience is 100% a result of biochemicals, and your body is a machine made of parts. So, this is why when you visit an MD, you're lucky if you spend 2 minutes with the doctor. The rest of the time, the majority of the time, the bulk of the time that you're in the hands of conventional reductionistic allopathic MD-directed medicine, it's all about diagnostic discovery, right? So you've got the prostate exam, you've got the urinalysis, you've got the stool analysis, you've got the blood analysis, you've got the x-ray, you've got the CT, you've got the MRI, whatever. You run up thousands of dollars of diagnostic testing once you darken the door of an MD. Now, why is this? Well, it's because the MD is trained in reductionism, and reductionism argues that the human body is basically a biochemical machine, and it's the doctor's job to break that machine down into the smallest part that they can find that's not functioning properly. So that's why you're given so much diagnostic discovery when you visit the MD. The MD doesn't really care what you think about your illness, doesn't care how you feel about your illness, and does not care about the subjective symptoms that show up of your illness. Your MD doesn't basically, and I see a time in the future when there aren't going to be any general practicing doctors. What's going to happen when you're sick? If you want to avail yourself of the MD approach, you'll walk up to a machine. The machine will scan your fingerprint or scan your retina or take a drop of blood, scan your DNA. It'll take your blood pressure automatically. It will check your blood sugars and 3 or 4 other variables in your blood work automatically, and then the machine will spit out medicine like candy, pharmaceutical medicine. Because it is not the medical doctor's, your MD's job to fix your illness, because the MD doesn't believe that the illness is fixable. The MD believes that once you're sick, you're screwed. It was just the inevitable march of time, that after a while everything breaks, and your only option is to let the doctor march in and orchestrate a hostile takeover of your biochemistry with drugs and surgery. So they can't even fix heartburn, right? They don't fix heartburn. They don't cure heartburn. They manage it. They have no clue as to what causes heartburn. They can't fix high blood pressure. They manage it. They can't fix arthritis. They manage it. They can't fix fibromyalgia. They manage it. They can't fix depression. They manage it with drugs, even though the research clearly shows that for the vast majority of depressive events, a placebo works better than Prozac. So why don't they prescribe placebo? Because medicine in the 21st century, and quite frankly, medicine since the 1900s has been a for-profit enterprise. And you are not the client of the hospital. The doctor is. You are the currency that the doctor trades to the hospital in order to be able to work at the hospital. But I digress. So your medical doctor, being trained in reductionistic allopathic medical philosophy, believes that the body is a machine made of parts, and that when something's wrong, it's the doctor's job to break the body down into the smallest piece that's broken and then give a medicine, the intention of which is not to fix anything but to manage your symptoms. And this is why we have such an unbelievably catastrophic healthcare failure all across the world. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. The leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. In the province of Alberta, in our friends in the Great White North in Canada, $48 million a day. $48 million a day is spent to prop up a failed Health Canada system. Now, you know, if you listen to President Obama, if you listen to the talking heads anywhere around the world, the people that are supposed to have your back about all this stuff, it's their opinion that the reason that the system is failing is because some people are gaming the system, that, you know, poor people who don't have medical insurance are jacking up the prices for everybody. And it's nonsense, because it's socialized medicine in Canada. If that were the case, then the healthcare system would be fine in Canada. The system does not need to be tweaked. It does not need to be upregulated or downregulated or massaged. It doesn't. It needs to be abandoned, because it does not work. Why doesn't it work? Because it's based on a reductionistic philosophy of healing, which is completely incorrect and completely inappropriate in the assessment of what's going on in a living, breathing human being. Now, in contradistinction to the way that the MDs are trained, which is reductionism, we have holism. Every other medical discipline in the world is trained in the holistic method. The only people trained in reductionism are the MDs. The Ayurvedic practitioners, the herbalists, the acupuncturists, traditional Chinese medical doctors, homeopathic doctors, naturopathic physicians, chiropractors, they're all trained in the holistic method. Well, what does holistic medicine argue? Holistic medicine argues the human body is a complex system of interrelated parts, imbued and endowed with a soul force, a vital force, which lends to the body intelligence. Your body has intelligence. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. Your body is aggressively attempting to maintain, repair, and regulate its affairs all of the time. Your body is so smart, it grew itself all by itself from a single-celled organism into you. Your body is regulating millions of biochemical processes every second of every day beyond your conscious control. Your body has intelligence. So it's the holistic physician's job to work with the inborn vital intelligence of the body to deliver to your body therapeutics which support and promote the body's ability to fix itself. This is why, when you're up against a chronic health condition, you should visit a holistic physician. And when you're up against a traumatic condition, right, a condition that affects a single part of your body, i.e., there's a bullet in your arm, your leg's been blown off by an IUD, somebody T-boned you at the intersection and your neck is snapped in two, or you're bleeding from an artery, that's the job of the reductionist. That's the domain of the reductionist. That's what the MDs excel in, and that's exactly why the most unbelievably awesome, progressive stuff that's happened in the medical theater in the last 100 years has all been in the domain of surgery. I mean, no kidding. The stuff that the MDs can do now with surgery is just this side of miraculous. Why? Because that's 100% congruent with reductionism. But where they stink is with the treatment of everything else, which is most of the things that most people go to the doctor for, right? High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, lack of energy. My hair's falling out. I'm overweight. My kid's got ADD. I can't sleep at night. I've got restless legs at night in bed. I've got unbelievably bad heartburn. What do I do? Well, if you go to the MD, you're SOL. Because remember, the MD doesn't believe that your body can fix it. But your MD is not trained to fix a damn thing. You need to bring your body to a holistic physician if you're troubled with a chronic disease. And that's where we come in. Because we bring to the table a boilerplate foundation medical therapeutics, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's ability to heal itself. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, and that beats allopathic reductionism any day of the week. 866-582-9933. That's the number to call to get. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, January 29th, 2014. Listen, when the shoe fits, you don't feel it, right? When your body is working optimally, regardless of what your age is, when your body is working optimally the way that God and nature intended it, you don't feel anything. Your breathing's good, your heart's good, your sleep's good, your thought's good, your concentration's good, your muscles and bones and joints are good. You might not be as strong as you were when you were 30 years old. You might not have the endurance that you did, unless you're a weekend warrior or some type of, athletic diehard. The body does age. Things do start to break down. But my point here is, if you are supporting and promoting your body's ability to optimize its health all of the time, every day, the same way that, you drink purified water, right? Doesn't your county do that? Hasn't your county figured out how to extract water from the earth and purify it, and so nobody in your town gets diphtheria? Haven't they figured out how to take care of your waste, eliminate your sewage? Yeah, haven't they done that? Well, you do that every day without even thinking. You use toilets that are hooked up to a sewage system that takes care of it. You live in houses that protect yourself from the elements. You cool them in the summer, you heat them in the winter. Well, there's another thing. You brush your teeth every day, right? Well, there's another thing that you need to do in order to optimize your body's health. You need to nutrify it. You need to give it the 90 essential nutrients that it needs every day just to work the way that nature intended it to. Now, when you do this, when you support your body's natural God-given ability to optimize its function, when you give the car a tune-up, it runs better. When you give the body its due, things don't break, or not nearly as much. This isn't some miracle cure panacea for everything. This is not. But what this is, what we bring to the table, are science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself. And once you start our programs, once you just get off of it and give our stuff a try, for goodness sake, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You got nothing to lose. Well, except maybe a little pride, right? Because once you give your body the stuff that it's needed its entire life, but it hasn't had, everything changes. You want to see what I'm talking about? Let's go to South Korea and talk to Allison about what her experience has been while she's been on Youngevity. Hey, Allison, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Good morning, Dr. Glidden.
Allison, hey, listen, by the way, what time is it in South Korea?
It's nearly 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 a.m. That would be Thursday, right? Thursday, the 30th of January. Oh, we'll see that, ladies and gentlemen. We're time travelers, too, here on Fire Your MD. Well, listen, thanks for getting up so early to give us a call. What do you have to report, and how can we help?
Okay, well, can I start by telling you what the situation was when I first discovered Youngevity, which was about 14 or 15 months ago?
Absolutely.
I had degenerative osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, muscle degeneration. I was permanently bent over to the left with my left knee bent in. And I couldn't straighten both legs unless my body was twisted to the left. I had a dowager's hump with the weight of my head so far forward that if I turned my head while I was walking, I fell over. I couldn't keep my balance. My left leg was badly degenerated. My thigh looked like that of someone with muscular dystrophy. My left knee felt like it was about to snap, and I had little or no feeling on the bottom of my left foot. I was in pain 24/7. Whatever I did, whether I sat down or I stood or I laid down or I walked, whatever I did, I was in pain. When I got into bed at night, as well as the pain, I had ringing in my ears, my heart rate increased, I had the urgent need to pee, I had restless legs and creepy crawlies. And walking was very, very painful, very slow, very difficult. I could only really walk by throwing my left hip forward, which took effort from my entire body. So it was absolutely exhausting. And if I'd been sitting down for any length of time, then to get up out of a chair and get to the point that I could walk took about 5 minutes, because it would take that long to get my left hip straight and persuade my left leg to take my weight. Right? It's been difficult for me to get on the full protocol for Youngevity because I have a lifelong history of absorption problems and food allergies. But
hold on to this thought. Hold on to that thought right there, Allison, up against the hard break. Ladies and gentlemen, I think she gets an award. I think she gets an award for not shooting herself, being in so much chronic pain. For goodness sakes, stick around. We're going to hear more from Allison all the way from South Korea. I'm Dr. Glidden. Don't even touch that dial. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, talking to Allison, who's over in South Korea now. She's got quite a story of just health problem after health problem after health problem. She's been following our advice for 14 months now. Allison, are you still with me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, very good. So now, before we get into what has happened since you've been with Youngevity, while you were going through your life before Youngevity, had you availed yourself of conventional medical treatment, and what was that like for you?
I've been in ill health since the day I was born. I mean, I'm 54 years old. And in the first couple of decades, I kind of spent my life in the doctor's office. But by the time I got to the situation I've just described to you, I'd got very disillusioned with conventional medicine, and I'd just given up going because I didn't believe that they could help me, and I got to the point where I believed they would do me more harm than good.
Well, and quite frankly, you know, outside of your belief system, I mean, that was a correct observation. That observation was consistent with the facts before the board, because you were going to them, and while you were under their care, you were getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and they didn't have anything for you except expensive symptom-suppressive medications that didn't do anything. So, we need to be specific with language here. In point of fact, conventional medicine let you down, and it let you down hard. And so you're stumbling in the dark. You're trying to find your way. And this is what we're led to, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, because the pharmaceutical industry has monopolized the medical market around the world. The only medicine that you have access to anywhere in the world is MD-directed reductionistic allopathic medicine. Your insurance doesn't pay for chiropractic. Your insurance doesn't pay for naturopathic or homeopathic or acupuncture or Ayurveda. And these types of medicine are not that readily available. You don't know if your practitioner's been licensed and schooled properly because it's a big, bad voodoo daddy. The complete and utter monopolization of the medical market worldwide by the MDs. So Allison and millions of other people all around the world have to try to figure it out on their own. And what the heck is up with that? You trust that your medical doctor knows what's best for you, but they don't. And then when they let you down, you have to figure it out yourself? Well, what the heck? So finally, by hook or by crook, Allison finds out about us. How did you find out about us, by the way, Allison? I forget how that happened.
Alex Jones.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, so Alex Jones interviewed Dr. Wallach, and then who's the president of the founder of Longevity, and then Alex Jones interviewed me, and Alex Jones has a big listenership, and so Allison attached her wagon to our star about 14 months ago, and tell the listening audience what your experience has been since.
Okay, well, as I was saying, I've had a problem getting on the full protocol because of my gut and my food allergies, but I've taken all the longevity products I can. I've tried to supplement with other products where necessary. I've had chiropractic treatment. I've done the diet religiously, and I've prayed every day in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm not yet where I hope to be, but I'm a long way from where I was. I'm going to be really honest. I'm going to tell you what's still wrong as well as what's right. Okay? I still have an elevated left hip, and tying my left shoelace is still a challenge. But I'm sorry, I'm going to cry. I'm now standing straight. I'm not bent over to the left. My left knee isn't bent in. I can straighten both legs without twisting to the left, and I don't have a dowager's hump. Okay, my left leg is it felt like it didn't actually belong to my body, but it now completely feels like it belongs to my body. I've got shaped muscle on my left thigh. My knee now feels normal. My left knee now feels normal. It's strong and straight. I've got full feeling in the bottom of my left foot. I am pain-free most of the time. I still have like aches and twinges, but real pain is now rare. The symptoms of osteoporosis I told you about, if they were a 10, they're now about a 1. And walking, instead of throwing my left hip forward, I'm still limping, okay? I'm still limping, and I've still got a bit of a strange twist when I walk, but I'm now lifting my left thigh, kicking out from the knee, going down on the heel and up on the toe like you're supposed to do. So I'd say I'm walking maybe about 80% better, and it's not painful at all. And when I get out of a chair now, the worst case scenario, instead of 5 minutes, is it might take me a few seconds. But the best case is I can now just get out of a chair and walk, which is absolutely fantastic.
What about the creepy crawlies at night in bed and the restless legs?
Almost gone. I've got what I don't know. I've got what I call post creepy crawlies. That is, it used to feel like there were insects crawling all over my body. Now when I get a little bit of it feels like a little bit of water rippling down my legs or something. There's something still there that's not right, but it's not uncomfortable. Yeah. Right? It's much better than it was.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. It's remarkable. And all this happened in 14 months, and you weren't even able to do...
it's still getting better.
Yeah, well, and this is it, right? Because healing is a process, not an event. And, I anticipate 100% recovery for you across the board. There might be some little kind of twist in the spine that's, it's kind of like those bonsai plants, when they grow and they twist and you can't untwist it after it's twisted. There might be something like that left over. But I got to tell you, This is one of the most remarkable testimonials I've heard in a year. One of the most remarkable testimonials I've heard in a year, and it's par for the course with naturopathic medicine and with generally and with longevity specifically. Now, look, we didn't do any diagnostic stuff. We didn't need to do blood work. We didn't need to do any expensive stuff. We just gave you boilerplate foundation medical nutrition therapeutics, kind of like one-size-fits-all stuff, and then you get results like this. So, I mean, what do you think about longevity and holistic medicine, and how do you feel about all of this?
I'm going to cry again. I thank God for it. I 15 months ago, my life was over, I didn't expect to have a life. I'd been ill all my life, and I'd struggled my entire life just to keep going, just to survive. And by last year, I kind of accepted that I'd lost. And I certainly never expected to see my 60th birthday. But now my thinking's completely changed. As well as my body changing, my thinking has changed.
Yeah.
I'm now finding myself planning for the future because I'm expecting, God willing, to have a future, which I didn't expect before.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Allison, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in tears, you're just not human. I don't know. This is what we do. This is what we bring to the table. We don't only provide sustenance to the body, we provide hope in real time. Because when you give your body the dew, when you give your body the nutrients it needs, when you stop eating crap that's gumming up the works, when you finally get a clue from someone who's got this dialed in, your body responds, and then all of a sudden you start to realize your potential, the reason why you're here on the planet. You think Allison's reason was to suffer her entire life? I don't think so. She was driving around in a car that was never tuned up because she took the wrong dog to the hunt. She leaned on the MDs because it was the only thing that she knew. And so what do? We just give the body the stuff it needs, tell her to stop eating the crap that's gumming up the works, and all of a sudden the body starts to fix itself. And guess what? Once the physical body is fixed, the mental body starts to kick in, and then all of a sudden you can plan for the future. You can start to have a life, and you can start to realize the reason why you're on the planet. Allison, this is just the greatest thing I've heard all year so far. I know it's only a short year, but this is going right on the wall of fame. You are an inspiration. Keep up the good work. Is there anything else? Do you have any questions? Is there a question here, or did you just want to call with a testimonial today?
I just wanted to give you a testimonial today.
Well, you've done it in spades, Allison. Fantastic job. Keep up the good work and call us whenever you want. Because as it turns out, now remember, right, with knowledge comes responsibility. So it's going to be itinerant upon you and upon everybody else in Longevity Nation to spread our message. Because you know how many millions of people there are, just like Allison, all around the world suffering in silence just because they don't know any better? Well, this is another reason why we live and why we exist, to spread our message through a grassroots coalition of the informed to whomever wants to listen. Allison, fantastic job. I look so very much forward to seeing 100% recovery for you marching forward. Keep up the good work and call us anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Oh, by the way, I don't screen the calls. I have no idea who's going to call me. The guys at the Genesis Communication Network studio, they just type in Allison from South Korea testimonial, or Bill from Pittsburgh, high blood pressure. That's all that I know. I have no idea what people are going to tell me. We don't screen people. We don't coach people. This is all done live and raw. And that's as good as it gets. In order to have a successful longevity practice, all you need to do is tell the truth. We don't obfuscate. We don't conflate. We don't oversell anything. We just tell people the truth. You have no idea. You have no idea of your body's ability to fix itself. Your body's ability to fix itself is greater than anybody has led you to believe. Thank God for Alex Jones. And, by serendipity that Alex Jones had Dr. Wallach and then myself on. Alex Jones started taking the Healthy Pack and saw remarkable results, and so he's got a big listening audience, and Allison just happened to be listening to his show the day that Dr. Wallach or myself was on, and the rest is history. One single moment in time can make all of the difference. And this is why we're active in hunting for radio stations all around the world who want to carry this show and help us fulfill our purpose of generating a grassroots coalition. And by the way, if you're a radio station owner, if you're a radio station manager, and you sign the radio station up as a distributor in Youngevity, and we give out a number for distributors underneath your radio station, and then everybody that calls the distributor that came to Youngevity through your radio station goes in your network, and you start to realize residual income from the vitamin sales over time. We're forming armies, nonviolent armies all around the world of people spreading our message. Now look, armies need to be paid. We've paid over 250 people there are multiple million-dollar earners, over 250 multi-million-dollar earners in Youngevity. And how did they do it? They opened their mouth and they told the truth and they pointed. I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I send you a link to this radio station, will you listen to it? That's how we're going to change the world, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Peter Glidden. I am your steadfast advocate for health. Stick around. We're going to go talk to Rebecca in Ohio when we come back. Hey, I'm going to sleep well tonight. How about you? How'd you like to change a life? How'd you like to save a life? Youngevity distributors do it all of the time. All of the time. Visit fireyourmdnow.com. Click on Join Team Glidden button. If somebody brought you to this radio station that's already an existing Youngevity member, get with them and find out how you can get involved. This is a network organization. It's a coalition. So you need to honor the person that pointed you to this radio station. Once you finally get it through your head that you want to take action on your own behalf and on behalf of those in your community, give us a call. Let's get it together, or get in touch with the person that directed you here. And this is how we're going to change the world, one person at a time. Let's go to Ohio now and finish out the first hour with Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello. Thank you for what you do.
You are welcome so much. Thanks for the call. What's going on?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of background. In 2005, I gave birth to my second child. I developed horrible gas and sleeplessness and severe acne that burned and itched my face. Hundreds of dollars went into acne products. Finally took a food allergy test and was sensitive to most, if not all, proteins. Couldn't eat anything. So I went to a natural doctor who did a colon cleanse, a liver cleanse, and put me on an enzyme.
Yeah.
He's since retired, so I no longer have that enzyme. I went back to eating everything that I thought, I had taken care of the problem. So I went back to gluten, wheat, everything. Started working out really hard, P90X. Ended up with a hernia and developed cellulitis on my face. I've heard of it on people's legs and arms, but never on the face. Went to the ER. They gave me months' worth of antibiotics. Did surgery on my hernia. After surgery, because of the tube, I developed acid reflux, so they said it was the tube. And so then they gave me acid reflux medicine. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I seen Benny Hinn's program, and Dr. Wallach was on there, so I started the products. I got the Majestic Earth Minerals, the Ultimate Classic, and the EFA. And then 2 days ago, I found the bad foods and good foods list on your website and started only the good foods. Well, yesterday, the cellulitis came back on my face. It's not burning and itching, but I've seen that you had an enzyme, so I'm calling today with two questions. Am I taking the right combination? How much do I take? And I've already ordered my enzyme.
Okay, good. Well, all right, so there's a lot of things going on here. So what, besides the cellulitis, right, on the face, which is a big deal, is there anything else that bothers you on a day-to-day basis, like mood, energy, blood pressure, heartburn, arthritic pain, anything else that's going on that's like, a bother for you?
The heartburn, I didn't feel heartburn. What I had a problem with was my throat. Felt like there was string in it. So I went to an ENT, and they put a scope down there, and that's when they told me it was silent reflux.
Yeah, okay. So if you had to make a list of, your top 3 mental, emotional, or physical complaints, what would they be?
I would say, well, I work out extra hard because of overweightness. I'm only 140 at 5'4", but I've never been firm or anything like that. Mood, definitely depressed. Stay-at-home mom. My husband's a truck driver, so I'm alone a lot.
Yeah.
And gassiness, always.
Okay, good. So here's the deal. So glad that you watched that Benny Hinn episode. So glad that you started on the right track here. You're absolutely right. You need to be tweaked here. You need to be dialed in, because when it comes to medical nutrition, we got to take the right stuff. We got to take it in the right amounts, and it's a dose-dependent phenomenon, right? I mean, if we had somebody with cellulitis on the face, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to give them kidney support, right? They need skin support and so forth and so on. So I'm glad that you called. We're up against a hard break, Rebecca. I know you've been hanging on for a long time. I'm going to ask you to hang on a little more. I'll pick up your call at the very first segment of the second hour, and I'll walk you through this from start to finish. And interestingly enough, I'm just going to say this, and we're going to leave it hanging. Exercise in your condition, quite frankly, in everybody's condition in this world, is one of the worst possible things that you can do. I'm going to explain why when we come back. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fire Your MD Now.